Hey guys, sorry for posting this so late. I'm a procrastinator, so even though I said I'm gonna do this video at the specific 1:45 p.m., I end up doing something completely different. Right now, I just baked chocolate chip chocolate brownies. Anyway, sorry for the inconvenience. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You arrived fashionably late to the Phantom Hive Manor. Sebastian, as always, was right outside the carriage door to escort you inside. You saw the bubbly strawberry hair blonde boy and waved at him. I brought some interesting flowers today, Finian. That's great, Miss Wyan. But you really don't have to call me by my full name. Finny is just fine. You giggle. Of course. It's mostly out of habit, and I'm guessing you call me Miss is also out of habit. Your chatter was cut short by Sebastian. Excuse me, but the young master is waiting for you. Oh, yes, sorry. You waved at Finny before skipping up the stairs. You had been here so many times, you didn't have trouble at all finding Ciel's study. The large mahogany doors came to view, and he gently knocked twice. You heard Ciel's voice muffledly come in, and you walked inside, closing the door behind you gently. Hello, Ciel. Hello, Wyan. Ciel basically grounded his name into your head, always scolding you whenever you addressed him formally. I brought some of my best flowers today. They're new shipments. You carefully set down the basket and took out a few potted flowers, all different colors and combinations. I crossbred this one myself. You handled the last flower with care. It was a mix between many flowers. It was mostly by accident, but you loved the flower enough to spend months trying to figure out how you made it. And when you succeeded, it was the most popular flower you ever sold. Ciel looked at the flower. It looked something in between a snapdragon and lilies. It's very particular. He touched the petals, and they felt like silk. Ah, yes, but it certainly is beautiful, though, isn't it? You admired the plant. Ciel nodded in agreement, watching you absent-mindedly. You looked at him with a broad grin. So what do you think? You gestured to all the flowers. Ciel looked at them carefully before picking the flower that you named after yourself and a sapphire flower. I'll take these two. I'm not so sure about that. You looked at the two flowers. And why not? Well, my YN flowers don't exactly do well in the presence of sapphire flowers, so they have to be raised in different areas of the garden, but they do fine with all the other flowers. Ciel raised an eyebrow and looked at the flowers. The stranger reminded him of himself and you. He was bright and he was dark. It was the kind that upset him, knowing these two flowers would never belong with each other. I'll buy them anyways. You nodded and finished some packets from your dress pocket. The flowers are on the house. You accidentally overpaid the last time you bought a shipment. You gently placed 4 packets on the table. No, I'll pay. I insist. No, it's fine, Ciel. How did you have so much power over his name? Well, for this, I insist you stay for dinner. Well, dinner with Ciel couldn't hurt. You gave him a curt nod. All right, Ciel. Sebastian? Yes, my lord? You jumped when you heard the voice behind you. Was he there the whole entire time? I'm sorry, Miss Wyan. You held your chest. It's perfectly fine, Sebastian. Ciel hated how you said his name in a gentle tone. Sebastian, go prepare dinner. Sebastian bowed and complied with his master's order. I'm sorry for Sebastian. It's all right, Ciel. Now, what would you like to do until dinner? I think you already know the answer to that. Time skip. You set down the piece gently, only a few moves away from a checkmate, no doubt about it. You've gotten better. He moved the piece, but not good enough. One move from a checkmate. I thought I lost longer this time. Ciel chuckled. He chuckled, you thought to yourself. You gasped and stood up. Do it again. His stoic face returned. Do what? A grin spread across her face. Laugh. I wasn't laughing. He leaned closer, challenging him. He leaned in and stood his ground. You were not. Ahem. Both your heads turned to see Sebastian in the doorway. The food is ready, young master. You hopped up. We're not finished, Phantom Hive. Ciel rolled his eyes in a childish manner. Why could he be so carefree around you? What's this feeling in his chest? You chatted with Ciel at dinner. You were at the closest seat next to him. He just sat there listening to you gush about things, but then he stopped when he heard you say something that greatly displeased him. You're what? You stopped talking. Oh yeah, I'm moving to America for a bit. My flowers are a really high-end. You're not moving, he hissed. He slammed his fist down on the table. The silverware clinked, and the room became engulfed in silence. He raised an eyebrow. It's great business, Ciel, but it's in America. Yeah, and? You are not moving that far away. He stood up and stared down at you. It was definitely intimidating. You shrunk down further into the plush chair. Ciel? He stopped and gave you one last look before he huffed. Fine, but you're staying here for the night. You agreed, not wanting to upset the Earl any further. Sebastian already prepared a room for you, which seemed odd, but you guessed that he just had a prepared room just in case. The last you saw of the Phantom Hive is when he stormed out of dinner. You felt a guilty weight on your chest. Ciel had become a friend of yours over the many years you guys worked together, but you can never see him that upset. You exited your room and padded down the halls until you found a familiar door. It was slightly ajar. You peeked inside and you saw Ciel sitting where he was earlier. The chessboard was still on the table. Not a piece had been moved. I know you're there. You ventured farther into the room. I'm sorry. How about a deal, YN? You looked at him with an odd expression. Depends on what kind of deal it is. We finished our game of chess. If I win, you stay here with me. If I lose, you move to America. It wasn't really your choice in the first place, but I'll humor you. You sat down and immediately realized your mistake. You had forgotten you was one move away from a checkmate. You looked up at Ciel's eyeing and caught a dangerous emotion flash within his sapphire eye. Your hands became sweaty. You only had one piece left to move. It was the queen. Ciel moved his king and took the queen. Checkmate. You looked up at him and a devilish smile played on his lips. You gasped at him. Why do you want me to stay so badly? Why, my darling YN? He leaned forward and stared into your eyes. It felt like he was peering a deep, burning hole in your soul. It's because I love you. You stood up, ready to sprint, but a ball came out of nowhere in front of your face. Its sweet smell intoxicating, making your senses feel funny. I'm terribly sorry, my lady. You collapsed and looked up, hoping for a hero to show up. But it was only a blur. All you could see was a blurry Ciel. Even if you had one, I would have never let you go, my little flower. It was cold, dark. But what got you the most? The silence. You laid back. It was hard, but cushioned at the same time. A bed? But it was most likely a love seat. Love. It's because I love you. Those words rang into your head. Why had he loved you? Was he so utterly broken about Lady Elizabeth's death all these years ago? Maybe you reminded him of her? Your thoughts were interrupted when a door opened with a small creak, and before it fully swung open. You sat up, still feeling dizzy, but you wouldn't let him know that. You could barely think of his name without tasting a bit of bile. What the hell, Ciel? You practically hissed out his name. He clicked his tongue. What foul language, my dear? You gestured sarcastically around the room, but your hands were yanked something. You chained me? It's just for precaution. You heard the smirk in his voice. Oh, how would you like to slap it right off of him? Your eyes were brought to his gaze. If you promise to be a good girl, I'll take the chains off. You reluctantly nodded. Getting the chains off would be a start. They could plan to run 100 miles away from here. Your smirk returned and produced a key. The cuff fell off your wrist, and you rubbed your reddened wrist. Now you'll obey me, or you'll be punished. If you run, you won't get far. Sebastian won't hesitate to capture you. Was everyone in on this? You couldn't imagine the servants, especially Finny, agreeing to any of this. Then again, you can never fully trust Sebastian, and you never did. The gravity of the situation hit you on your head. Your eyes began to water. You was never going to see the outside world again, weren't you? Your tears were now flowing down your cheeks, not caring who saw. Ciel bent down and wiped a tear away. Don't cry. It's pathetic. Crying won't change anything. Ciel cooed, but you couldn't help yourself. A sob racked your body, and you pointed at him accusingly. I won't be like that if you hadn't kidnapped me, you psychopath. His features darkened. Is that so? He gasped your forearm and dug his nail into it, making it cry out in pain. Ciel, it hurts! You were choking down sobs the best you could. You know, Wyan, I was born to end up alone. But I don't have to be. He leaned in and stole a kiss, but you didn't bite back. This encouraged him. He tried deepening the kiss, licking your lips, but you didn't comply. He growled and bit your lips. You cried out, but keep your mouth shut. You slapped him. Ciel looked out in disbelief. He scowled and held his face. How dare you? Have you forgotten who holds your life in your hands right now? I could end it so easily, you arrogant girl. He raised his arm to hit you. You moved your hands to shield your face, but the blow never came. You open your eyes and see him leaving hesitantly. Don't you ever forget who owns you now, Wyan. Ciel turned and slammed the door behind him, leaving you in the darkness. Everyone knows a sunflower needs light before it can wither into nothingness. Hey guys, sorry for messing up on that last part of the audio, because I was really tired of editing, so I just went with it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and I'll see you in the next video, which was going to be the Alois Trancy, the Yandere Alois Trancy one. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.